WWE ignored one of wrestling's greatest stars, Christian Cage, a two-time World Heavyweight Champion, pioneer of TLC and Ladder Wars, and one half of the legendary tag team Edge and Christian. He delivered unforgettable matches, from high-flying ladder dives to technical masterclasses, leaving fans speechless at every turn. Yet WWE buried his talent, overlooked his legacy, and to this day, he's not in the Hall of Fame. Christian's career spans WWE, TNA, and AEW, proving he's a legend no promotion can erase. Before stepping onto the bright lights of the World Wrestling Federation, William Jason Rizzo, later known simply as Christian, cut his teeth in the Canadian independent wrestling scene. Wrestling under his real name in small promotions across Ontario and Quebec, Christian quickly developed a reputation for his work ethic, in-ring intelligence, and adaptability. He learned to combine high-flying maneuvers with technical wrestling, a skill set that allowed him to stand out among a crowded field of emerging talent. By the mid-1990s, he had already gained experience against seasoned competitors, mastering the timing, pacing, and psychology necessary to tell a story in the ring. These formative years also taught him how to handle multi-man matches, tag team dynamics, and character work, skills that would prove essential for his upcoming WWF debut. In 1998, Christian signed with the World Wrestling Federation, entering one of the most competitive eras in professional wrestling. He made his first appearance on In Your House 24 Breakdown, interfering in the match between Edge and Owen Hart by costing Edge his bout, immediately presenting himself as a disruptive presence aligned with Gangrel's Brood faction. Christian's first official singles match on WWF television came at Judgment Day, In Your House on October 18, 1998, where he challenged Taka Michinoku for the WWF Light Heavyweight Championship, marking both his televised in-ring debut and his first title opportunity. The bell sounded and Taka immediately went to work, driving Christian into the corner before hitting a spinning heel kick that sent Christian reeling, followed by a suicide top rope crossbody pushing him out to the floor. Taka followed with a springboard plancha, forcing Christian to absorb aerial offense outside. Back inside, Michinoku dropped a flying knee across Christian's back, securing a 2 count, but Christian responded with a falling reverse DDT that abruptly slowed Taka's offense. Christian shifted momentum by planting a trio of rolling suplexes, the third being a front suplex, into a near-fall pin attempt. With Michinoku dumped over the top rope, Christian seized his own opportunity on the outside, springing off the second turnbuckle with a plancha of his own. Christian then connected with a powerbomb for a 2 count. Ascending to the second rope for a splash, he missed, and Taka capitalized with a mid-air dropkick that sent Christian back to the floor before hitting an Asai moonsault from the apron. Christian countered the driver attempt and transitioned it into a small package cradle, securing the 3 count at approximately 8:35 to capture the WWF Light Heavyweight Championship in his very first televised match. Following that debut victory, Christian spent the next several weeks defending his title and building early momentum on WWF television. On the November 23, 1998 episode of Raw is War, he faced Dwayne Gill in a highly one-sided match, opening with a reverse DDT and dominating physically against Gill. As Christian isolated Gill with strikes and corner offense, his heel confidence grew, and he repeatedly pulled Gill to the mat for additional punishment. However, during a heelish moment where Christian lingered on offense after a 2 count, members of the JOB squad interfered, allowing Too Cool's Scorpio to hit a slingshot splash that enabled Gill to score an upset pinfall victory and capture the Light Heavyweight Championship from Christian. Christian's early WWF rivalry arcs were built around both this Light Heavyweight title exchange and faction-based confrontations. As part of the Brood alongside Gangrel and later Edge, he competed in a series of multi-man tag and 6-man matches on weekly television. In those chaotic encounters, Christian blended his aerial offense, including suicide dives to the floor and springboard drop kicks. Commentary at the time regularly emphasized his versatility and quick reaction skills, as Christian worked both with and against faster light heavyweights and larger opponents in the same match environments. In late 1998, the partnership between Christian and Edge began not as a mere alliance, but as a collision of styles. Christian's sharp counters and precision timing blended with Edge's explosive power and opportunistic offense. After breaking away from the Brood and formalizing their tandem, the duo entered the WWF Tag Team division amidst a crowded field of established teams, yet their chemistry and athletic instincts quickly elevated them into contention. Their early televised tag matches showcased crisp, tandem offensive bursts. One of Christian and Edge's first high-profile tag encounters occurred at Unforgiven 1999, where they faced the New Age Outlaws, Billy Gunn and Road Dogg, for the WWF Tag Team Championship. Christian and Edge executed coordinated offensive sequences to open the match, with Christian landing a sharp unpretier on Gunn as part of a quick succession of tags. Road Dogg countered with a pump handle slam attempt on Christian, but Christian slipped from the hold, only for the Hardy Boys, at the time aligned with Gangrel as the New Brood, to interfere at ringside, allowing Gunn to capitalize and retain after hitting Edge with a Faymaster. This bout showcased Christian's ability to transition from tag combinations to split-second counter-offense, and it established early heat with veteran teams. In the weeks that followed, Christian and Edge elevated their tag team work through sharp tandem counters and synchronized attacks against a variety of opponents on Raw and SmackDown episodes. Each match served as practice in transitioning between quick roll-ups, explosive double dives to the outside, and crisp rope-assisted exchanges that underscored their growing cohesion. The team's first major breakout moment arrived at WrestleMania 2000 in a triangle ladder match for the WWF Tag Team Championship involving the Hardy Boys and the Dudley Boys. All 6 competitors engaged in an unforgiving blend of high-impact offense and weapon-assisted sequences. Early in the match, the Dudleys used chairs to soften both challengers, targeting legs and midsections with repeated concertos and chair shots. The Hardys responded with synchronized dives through ladder setups and double leg drops off ladders to both Christian and Edge. In the closing minutes, Christian and Matt Hardy stood atop a table balanced between 2 ladders. As Matt sought to retrieve the belts, Edge shoved him through the table, clearing the path for them to ascend and unhook the tag titles together. Christian's first WWF Tag Team Championship victory. Ascending the tag ranks, Christian and Edge adopted a heel persona marked by arrogant showmanship, comedic taunts, and theatrical poses, mocking opponents with their now iconic 5-second poses and catchphrases that played to the crowd in every city. Their tag title defenses often blended physical offense with psychological play, intentionally slowing contests with taunting poses and strategic rope breaks to frustrate challengers before executing explosive offense. At Backlash 2000, the champions defended against D-Generation X, Road Dogg, and X-Pac. The match began with DX controlling through quick tag sequences and veteran ring psychology, isolating Christian with snap suplexes and corner forearms. Mid-match, Edge and Christian regained momentum, and Christian struck X-Pac with the ring bell, allowing Edge and Christian to retain the championships. The rivalry with Too Cool, Scotty 2 Hotty, and Grandmaster Sexay, bolstered by Rikishi, brought a contrasting style to the tag division. At a Raw is War broadcast, Too Cool captured the titles from Christian and Edge after an explosive sequence in which Rikishi distracted the referee and Grandmaster Sexay scored a pin following a belt shot to Christian's face. This defeat underscored the dynamic pace of the tag division and forced Christian and Edge back into elimination-style contests for redemption. On King of the Ring 2000, Christian and Edge regained the WWF Tag Team Championship in a 4 corners elimination match that also included Too Cool, the Hardy Boys, and TNA, Albert and Test. The match emphasized strategic pacing and sequence variation. Matt Hardy hit a twist of fate on Test, only for Christian to counter Matt with an unpretier for the pin. Edge tagged in, assisted with a belt shot to Grandmaster Sexay, and sealed the win with a belt-assisted cover on Scotty 2 Hotty, reclaiming the tag titles with diversified offense and opportunistic teamwork. SummerSlam 2000 marked a watershed for Christian and Edge with the first ever tables, ladders and chairs match for the WWF Tag Team Championship against the Hardy Boys and the Dudley Boys. The opening minutes were an unrelenting blur of ladder exchanges, chair shots, and table setups. Jeff Hardy executed daring swanton bombs off ladders through tables on Bubba Ray Dudley, while Devon repeatedly slammed chair shots into both competitors. Christian absorbed a 3D through a table but continued to fight back, taking ladder shots and returning with calculated chair attacks of his own. The defining sequence saw Christian and Edge push a ladder with Matt Hardy on top through 2 stacked tables outside the ring before climbing and unhooking the belts, retaining their titles in a display of brutal, weapon-integrated athleticism that redefined tag team competition. In the months that followed, Christian and Edge engaged in steel cage, elimination, and masked identity scenarios to retain or regain tag gold. At Unforgiven 2000, they lost the titles to the Hardy Boys in a steel cage match after repeated concertos atop the cage allowed Matt to escape over the top and secure the fall. Undeterred, Christian and Edge returned at No Mercy 2000 disguised as Los Conquistadors, masking their identities to defeat the Hardy Boys and recapture the titles in a fast-paced match full of blind tags and surprise counters. Their rivalry with the Dudley Boys continued into 2001. At the Royal Rumble, Christian and Edge dropped the WWF Tag Team Championship to the Dudleys, following a hyper-aggressive sequence where Bubba Ray used the fractured ring environment to isolate Christian before securing the pin. After a failed title regain at No Way Out, the duo set their sights on redemption at WrestleMania X7 in the second ever TLC match involving the Hardy Boys and the Dudley Boys. The match unfolded as a meticulously chaotic brawl. Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy opened with synchronized ladder dives, Dudley's countered with power bombs from ladders into chairs, and Christian absorbed chair shots before retaliating with precise strikes. One of the standout moments saw Jeff Hardy perched atop a ladder before being speared midair by Edge, adding staggering momentum to the bout. In the final minutes, Christian and Edge capitalized on a multi-weapon sequence to secure the belts once more, marking their 7th and final WWF Tag Team Championship reign. Throughout the 1998 to 2001 period, Christian's evolution within the tag division was defined by calculated risk-taking, innovative weapon usage, synchronized tandem offense, and the capacity to shift momentum through sudden counters and aerial strikes. His chemistry with Edge, grounded in precise timing and a shared understanding of match pacing, helped redefine tag team wrestling and elevated the storytelling potential of high-stakes multi-team bouts. After years of tag team success, Christian transitioned into one of the most unpredictable and athletic singles competitors in the WWF landscape. With Edge's rise and eventual separation from their partnership, Christian reintroduced himself with a swaggering confidence and self-assured mic presence, eventually adopting the Captain Charisma persona, a blend of cocky bravado, quick wit, and unapologetic in-ring intensity that became his hallmark. Christian's singles ascension began in earnest in 2001 following his first Intercontinental Championship win. At Unforgiven 2001, he faced Edge in a physically intense singles contest for the Intercontinental title. Both men traded stiff strikes early, with Christian responding to Edge's early corner whip with a snap suplex into the opposite corner, followed by a running dropkick that kept Edge staggered. Christian kept the pressure, targeting Edge's midsection with repeated front face locks before transitioning to a short-arm scissors takedown. As Edge rallied, he countered Christian's Irish whip attempt into a jawbreaker clothesline that sent Christian to the floor. Christian regained control with a springboard crossbody, then connected with a picture-perfect unprettier for the 3 count, claiming the Intercontinental Championship in a hard-fought singles victory. Christian's first Intercontinental title reign marked his elevation into mid-card prestige. On SmackDown, shortly after, he defended the title against challengers with varying styles. Against slower, power-based wrestlers, he frequently used leg kicks and drop kicks to create separation, and against faster technicians, he relied on counters and sudden strikes to halt momentum. On SmackDown in late 2001, Christian captured the European Championship from Bradshaw in a hard-nosed bout where Christian struck early with a running knee lift, followed by a series of grounded head scissors and a quick 3-count pinning combination to secure the title. Christian's European title run saw him defend against rugged challengers and brawlers alike. In a WrestleMania X8 European Championship match against Diamond Dallas Page, both men exchanged near falls and athletic counters. Christian executed a neckbreaker during a scramble, but Page countered and scored with a diamond cutter for the victory. Elevating the character further, Christian's growing confidence spilled into his promo work. He embraced his WWE Universe fan base, calling them his peeps, and began centering storylines around his desire to be seen not just as a tag team standout, but as a legitimate singles star. Christian's Intercontinental Championship program escalated throughout 2003. One standout singles encounter was against Rob Van Dam on Raw in a high-risk ladder match for the Intercontinental title. Early in the bout, Christian and RVD battled at breakneck pace, exchanging rapid counters and reversals. RVD's trademark Rolling Thunder connected for a near fall, but Christian fired back with a running bulldog into the corner. Midway, Christian attempted a ladder climb only for RVD to intercept him with a top rope kick that sent Christian crashing to the mat before RVD ascended to unhook the championship belt. At WrestleMania 21, Christian participated in the first ever Money in the Bank ladder match, a six-man high-stakes bout featuring a roster of elite grapplers including Chris Jericho, Chris Benoit, Kane, and Shelton Benjamin. Christian's early strategy was centered on methodical pacing, absorbing offense, and capitalizing on openings with snap suplexes and ladder strikes whenever an opponent staggered. Despite near falls and brilliant ladder exchanges, including Christian hitting a running crossbody onto a ladder laid across the ringside floor, he ultimately came up short as Edge retrieved the briefcase. Christian's adaptability was further emphasized during a triple-threat Intercontinental title bout at Unforgiven 2003 involving Chris Jericho and Rob Van Dam. Each competitor showcased unique arsenals: Jericho's technical submissions, RVD's aerial offense, and Christian's blend of opportunistic strikes, leading to a match punctuated by ladder spots and sudden shifts in momentum. Christian executed a running knee into a ladder set in the corner, only for Jericho to counter and seize control, ultimately retaining after exploiting a well-timed crane kick. Christian's singles run also intertwined with emotionally charged storylines. At WrestleMania 20, he faced Chris Jericho in a marquee singles match that combined in-ring intensity with narrative drama. Both competitors worked in tight sequence exchanges, with Jericho landing repeated enziguri kicks and Christian responding with running back elbows. The finish came when Jericho's own storyline ally inadvertently struck him, allowing Christian to capitalize with a sudden pinning combination for the win. Another key moment in Christian's singles journey was his feud with Shelton Benjamin. At Survivor Series 2004, Christian challenged Benjamin for the Intercontinental Championship in a physical matchup emphasizing strength and counters. Benjamin attempted multiple T-bone suplexes and powerful strikes, while Christian absorbed the offense and rebounded with running forearms and opportunistic roll-ups, keeping the crowd invested in each reversal. Despite Christian's resilience and clutch counters, Benjamin ultimately hit a T-bone suplex for the 3 count. Christian's Captain Charisma persona was also defined by his interactions with rising stars and established main eventers alike. On Vengeance 2005, he competed in a triple-threat WWE Championship match against John Cena and Chris Jericho. Each man seized advantage at different points. Jericho applied the walls of Jericho on Cena. Cena countered Christian's unprettier attempt into an FU, and Christian, always adaptable, utilized grounded leg sweeps to halt Jericho's charge before falling to a decisive pin that allowed Cena to retain. Throughout this epoch, Christian's in-ring psychology matured. He mixed mat-based counters, opportunistic strikes, aerial dives, and strategic pacing to structure matches that felt dynamic and unpredictable. Christian's charisma also drew attention for its seamless blend of arrogance and athletic credibility. The way he reveled in crowd reactions, taunted opponents with subtle facial cues and strategic pauses, and used the mic to add layers to his feuds. Opponents found themselves in a uniquely integrated narrative. Match after match, Christian's verbal confidence translated into increasingly layered ring psychology, giving weight to every counter, every springboard strike, and every champion-level near fall. By the mid-2000s, Christian had proven himself not just as a transition tag star, but as a reliable upper mid-card and occasional main event singles wrestler, capable of carrying feuds, delivering crisp matches, and adding emotional depth to every feud he entered. Christian's departure from WWE in 2005 opened a new chapter in his career that saw him evolve from mid-card standout to true world champion status. After signing with Total Nonstop Action Wrestling late in 2005, he dropped the simple Christian moniker in favor of Christian Cage, a name that signaled a rebirth with a focus on main event credibility and boundary-pushing matches. His arrival in TNA immediately aligned him with the top of the card as he declared his intent to capture the NWA World Heavyweight Championship, a title steeped in lineage that TNA had positioned as its flagship championship. Christian's early TNA run emphasized physicality and high-stakes match construction. At Turning Point 2005, he faced Monty Brown in a hard-fought bout to determine the number one contender to the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. From the opening bell, Cage worked both inside the ring and at ringside, launching himself from the padded top turnbuckle with an aerial splash onto Brown that drove momentum in his favor. Brown answered with his signature Alpha Bomb, nearly scoring the pin, but Christian absorbed the attack, baiting Brown into running shoulder first into an exposed turnbuckle, then sealing the victory with a decisive unpretier for the 3 count. Following this breakthrough, Christian's path toward the world title intensified. At Against All Odds 2006, Christian battled longtime rival Jeff Jarrett in a match defined by back-and-forth control and strategic counter wrestling. Jarrett frequently targeted Christian's legs, attempting to nullify his speed with repeated mat-based holds while using opportunistic shoves into the steel ring posts. Christian absorbed the offense, selling the discomfort and timing his return with an explosive sequence that began with a kick out of a stroke attempt, then transitioned into a sudden unpretier, hooking Jarrett's leg for the decisive 3 count. The referee was Earl Hebner, calling a clean match down the middle, and Christian was crowned the new NWA World Heavyweight Champion to roaring reaction. Christian also engaged in matches that integrated environmental elements. At TNA Lockdown 2006, he defended his world title against Abyss inside a 6-sided steel cage. Both wrestlers used the cage to their advantage. Abyss repeatedly drove Christian into the steel mesh, only for Christian to respond with running drop kicks off the ropes into Abyss's midsection. Christian's strategy was methodical: dodge the big man's power, strike with quick momentum attacks, and use changing positions to force Abyss into wrestling on Christian's terms. Though Abyss's size advantage threatened to dominate, Christian countered with a reverse thrust kick, followed by a poised unpretier in the cage's center to retain the belt. His reign eventually led to marquee TNA pay-per-views, where the championship picture expanded. At Final Resolution 2007, Christian entered a 3-way main event versus Sting and Abyss. Early exchanges saw Sting use his veteran instincts to counter Christian's aerial approaches. Tossing him with a scorpion death drop kept Christian grounded. Christian fought back with calculated counters, forcing both opponents into the same sequences, creating chaos that ended with him landing a bulletproof unpretier to score the pinfall and regain the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. At Against All Odds 2007, Christian's title defense against Kurt Angle showcased high-impact strategy and opportunistic offense. Angle attempted repeated German suplexes, wrenching Christian's neck into a triangle of suplex transitions. Christian's defense was grounded in timely head scissors and leg kick counters that kept Angle off balance, forcing him into mistake after mistake. In the closing sequence, with outside interference drawing the referee's attention, Christian seized a steel pipe, drove Angle into position, and followed with an unrelenting unpretier for the 3 count to retain his world title. Christian continued to defend the championship against diverse styles. He faced Samoa Joe at Destination X 2007 in a contest that blended technical submissions such as Joe's trademark coquina clutch attempts with Christian's sudden snap suplex counters and high-impact running strikes. Christian used pace variation to disrupt Joe's rhythm, feinting aerial assaults before grounding Joe with snap kick combinations that repeatedly halted Joe's forward momentum. The finish came during a counter sequence where Joe attempted a chop block, only for Christian to roll through and land a decisive unprettier followed by a pinfall victory. Christian's TNA World title saga extended through television and PPV defenses, blending technical wrestling and character-driven storytelling. His leadership in the ring, strategic counters, and ability to build tension through pacing marked him as a main event stalwart. However, as TNA's partnership with the National Wrestling Alliance dissolved in mid-2007, the physical NWA title was ultimately stripped due to contractual technicalities, even as Christian retained possession on screen. In early 2009, Christian's career came full circle with a return to WWE, this time on the ECW brand, marking his first televised WWE matches in over 3 years. His homecoming match on ECW on Sci-Fi saw him defeat ECW champion Jack Swagger in a surprise return that immediately thrust him back into title contention upon arrival. Christian's return was not nostalgic. He came back with the same hunger for competition that defined his TNA run. Christian's reintroduction to WWE television was built around his need to prove himself among a new generation of competitors. After qualifying for the Money in the Bank ladder match at WrestleMania 25 by winning a tri-branded Battle Royale, he brought his ladder match pedigree into the bout, facing stars like CM Punk, John Morrison, and Kane. Christian used his experience to navigate rapid spots such as dodging flying attacks and exploiting ladder placements, but ultimately did not secure the briefcase. Christian's WWE momentum peaked at Backlash 2009, where he faced Jack Swagger in an ECW championship match. Both men traded control, with Swagger's power-driven offense countered by Christian's snap suplexes and sudden flying forearms. The match reached a turning point when Christian sidestepped Swagger's top rope elbow attempt and connected with the Unprettier, hooking the leg for the 3 count to capture the ECW championship, his first major world title victory in WWE. Throughout the summer of 2009, Christian defended the ECW championship in physically demanding matches. At a WWE TLC Tables, Ladders, and Chairs, he faced Shelton Benjamin in a brutal ladder match filled with high-impact dives and structural weapon spots. Both competitors executed perilous falls off ladders and repeatedly climbed for possession of the championship suspended above the ring. Christian survived the onslaught, driving Benjamin through a ladder outside the ring before ascending to retrieve the title belt and retain his championship. These victories underscored Christian's ability to blend physical intensity with narrative clarity. Every strike, counter, and aerial sequence tied into the larger arc of his emergence as a leader, champion, and proven world-class professional wrestler. Christian's pursuit of the top prize in professional wrestling culminated in 2011, a year that saw him finally break through to the sport's elite echelon. After years of being a respected upper mid-card and occasional main event performer, he was poised to achieve something he had long been denied: sustained world championship success. The opportunity came at Extreme Rules 2011 in a World Heavyweight Championship ladder match against Alberto Del Rio for the vacant title. Del Rio's early strategy centered on isolating Christian's limbs, driving him shoulder first into ladders, and using tactical strikes to wear him down. Christian absorbed the punishment, countering with a reverse neckbreaker that staggered Del Rio before a backdrop onto a ladder at ringside. As both men fought amid the steel, Christian seized a key opening when Ricardo Rodriguez inadvertently blocked Del Rio's foot from the ladder rung. Christian climbed, unhooked the championship belt, and captured the World Heavyweight Championship for the first time in his career, a moment signifying not just a title win, but vindication for years of near-miss and standout performances. Christian's celebration was curtailed quickly. On SmackDown just days later, he defended the title against Randy Orton in a match built on sharp counters and physical intensity. Orton neutralized Christian's aerial strikes with well-timed dropkicks and methodical knee attacks, ultimately landing an RKO out of nowhere for the 3 count, and ending Christian's brief first world title reign. The feud with Orton continued into Over the Limit 2011, where Christian worked to keep Orton off balance, mixing running forearms with rope-assisted reversals. Orton, however, used his veteran instincts to slow the pace and secure victory after a series of methodical strikes and a second RKO. Christian's second world title win came at Money in the Bank 2011 under controversial stipulations. If Orton was disqualified, Christian would regain the championship. Christian wasted no time provoking Orton early in the match, taunting him, and drawing a low blow from the champion. The disqualification led to Christian recapturing the World Heavyweight Championship, but the result did not satisfy Orton's wrath. After the bell, Orton unleashed a vicious assault, smashing Christian with a TV monitor, repeatedly driving him into steel steps, and finishing with multiple RKOs through broadcast tables. Brutality that underscored the personal intensity of their rivalry. Christian's run at the top of WWE, though brief, showcased one of the most versatile offensive repertoires of his career. He blended technical counters, aerial sequences, and storytelling psychology to make every title match feel like a dramatic narrative, not just a title defense. Yet despite his undeniable in-ring capability and clear popularity with fans, WWE's booking often featured Christian in short title reigns and transitional roles, a pattern that many fans and analysts viewed as WWE underutilizing one of his generation's most reliable performers. To this day, Christian has not been inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, a fact often highlighted by fans as emblematic of how WWE historically neglected his full potential during peak years, despite his contributions to tag innovation, TLC match legacy, and world title drama. After intense storylines through 2011 and 2012, Christian's in-ring momentum was interrupted by injury. By 2014, he had suffered multiple concussions that forced him into long-term absence and effectively retirement from full-time wrestling. During this period, Christian remained involved in WWE through guest appearances, commentary segments, and occasional special matches. Christian's hiatus from regular wrestling continued until 2021, when a dramatic return at the Royal Rumble reignited his competitive fire and thrilled longtime fans. His brief but impactful appearance reminded the wrestling world of his ring instincts, pacing intelligence, and signature combination of charisma and physical storytelling. Soon after, Christian made a pivotal career decision. He opted to join All Elite Wrestling, AEW, as Christian Cage, stepping away from WWE's weekly programming for the first time in over 2 decades. Christian's AEW career hit its first major peak on the premiere episode of AEW Rampage on August 13, 2021, where he challenged Kenny Omega, then Impact World Champion, in a championship match that blurred promotional boundaries. The contest was hard-hitting and strategic. Omega attempted multiple one-winged angel setups, but Christian countered dynamic attacks with a kill switch onto a steel chair, securing the pin and winning the Impact World Championship. The victory was historic not just for the title itself, but as a statement. Christian was now a world champion outside WWE, fully reinvigorated in a fresh, competitive environment. Christian's Impact World title defense against Brian Myers at Emergence showcased his dual identity as a cunning heel and veteran strategist. Christian capitalized on Myers' momentum with a sequence of tornado DDTs, precision strikes, and opportunistic counters, before finishing with a textbook kill switch for the pinfall. Beyond championships, Christian has also captured the AEW Championship twice and the AEW World Trios Championship, adding to his diverse legacy across promotions. In AEW, Christian has embraced a role that blends top heel competitiveness, mentor figure, and occasional tag team collaborator. Despite his achievements across WWE, TNA Impact, and AEW, the narrative of Christian being overlooked during his prime WWE years persists among fans. Many cite his technical versatility, TLC match legacy with edge, and ability to deliver compelling matches at every level as reasons he deserved longer reigns, more consistent main event pushes, and earlier Hall of Fame recognition. Christian has never been inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, even as peers of equal championship pedigree have been honored, reinforcing the perception among fans that WWE undervalued his contributions relative to his in-ring resume. As of 2025, Christian Cage remains an active competitor, a championship threat, a mentor, and a respected veteran presence in AEW and Impact Productions. His legacy spans eras and promotions, revolutionizing the tag division with innovative TLC psychology, delivering emotionally invested world title runs, mentoring younger talent, and continually proving that charisma, versatility, and ring intelligence can define a career as impactfully as championship gold.